This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
This is the Krypton Car Chat. It's a lot of alliteration I'm working on. Seems to be a thing going. But I just want to throw this out. James Gunn posted on Threads that he and his team need to watch The Suicide Squad and Blue Beetle again to see what's canon and what's not, much like they did with Peacemaker. And people are talking online if they have questions or whatever with James. And my question was, as far as Peacemaker goes, I feel like most of it, or The Suicide Squad, most of it works fine in the context of that film. Connecting the Creature Commandos and Superman. My question was about Bloodsport shooting the David Cornsweet Superman. One person replied, well, the Hammer of Baravia was the first time he lost a fight. Okay, but that doesn't mean that him getting shot doesn't mean he lost the fight. He could have got shot, which is why there's no more kryptonite around. That's why we need a metamorpho for the kryptonite. Him getting shot didn't mean that he went down. He was in the ICU, but he could have stopped. Bloodsport got arrested. When he fought the Hammer Baravia, he actually had to leave and flee. The hammer was still there. And that was a hand-to-hand fight. It's a different thing. It also seems that Blue Beetle is part of the DC Studios films. Awesome, because we need more lighthearted, family-accessible films for DC Studios. I'd really like Gunn to push that a little bit more. Maybe rebrand the Blue Beetle intro with the box art with the DC logo. Have Blue Beetle pop up somewhere or get referenced in somehow. I think, it would have been really great in Peacemaker Season 2 had we got Blue Beetle as an off, comment or something, or look on the screen or a piece of paper or something. It doesn't have to be much, just something that said Blue Beetle that was tied into this. So, yeah, that's kind of in my car chat thoughts. A lot of things coming out to talk about on our next episode. Hope everyone out there is staying safe, reading some comics, sharing your love for comics with everyone that you know. Take care.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I am Tyler, the Superman of Steel, the Man of Tomorrow. Wait, the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow. Wow.
Did you forget your moniker?
I did. Holy cow. Holy cow. So, for all those people who don't know, this is the first time James and I have recorded in over a month. That was a long pause to shut my door because my wife's yelling at me. But
long few weeks. Life has happened. A lot of life has happened.
Life has bent us over and beat the out of us. For anyone who doesn't know, my daughter was in the hospital. She was real sick for over a week, and she spent several nights in the hospital. There's just been some other, life stuff. James has had some things going on that have been crazy.
And yep, Jamie was in the hospital, appendix removed, so surgery. Yep. So that's a lot of work at home.
So it's just been really crazy. We were going to attend Motor City Con, Comic-Con this past week, but Sayla was in the hospital, so I was with her. So it's just been a lot of stuff that's kind of kept us really busy with life. But I hope you enjoyed the past few episodes. Those are ones that I had recorded before with some friends that we were like really cool ideas we had, but not sure where to put them. So we just kind of recorded them and saved them. And lo and behold, we found a beautiful place for them to go. So thank you to our good friend over on the Cinephiles podcast, Superhero Cinephiles, Mr. Perry Constantine, and our good brother from another mother, Logan Crowley of Single Bound, who has his own special news, but I won't share that here. That's his news this year. So yeah, what a way to go. But it's long, it's late, but we're recording. So I decided, because we had so much news and stuff to get through, that I would make a beautiful slideshow. What do you think, James? You ready to do some news? So here is my fun news slideshow.
Yes, slideshow.
First thing we got we got a Supergirl poster with just Crypto, and then we got an international poster that has Supergirl, Lobo, and Ruthie, which I like this one because I like seeing Lobo in good lighting and really get to see his costume and everything. I'm telling you, he looks like he's from Kiss, but I like this one. I like seeing all three of them really kind of showing more of what's going to be in the film than just Supergirl.
Right. Definitely promoting Lobo, and for sure Ruthie being a big part of the story.
So then we got this Lobo photo poster.
Yeah. This poster I like. An up close look at Lobo. The makeup, the makeup that he has, it looks like the black streaks, the black marks around his eyes and everything. Mm-hmm. Actually looks like it's like part of him. Looks like it almost is skin deep.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't look like black makeup like the Crow or something.
It's true. That's very true. I think it looks good. He's looking wearing a flipping grenade as a necklace. Could be a thermal detonator.
I wonder if he's going to use it in a movie and blow himself to bits and come back.
That'd be hilarious.
I would love that. That'd be hysterical.
I want to rewatch the Lobos stuff from Krypton before the movie, if we get to. I like this poster of Millie right here, Supergirl with her hand on her hips. Really shows off the suit. It's nice. So I guess there are going to be some early fan screenings of Supergirl. Says more details to come. So keep my eyes peeled for that. I didn't get to go to the advanced screenings of Superman like everybody else did, I know, but me.
You know what? I got crapped on that. That was a big old story and a big old thing.
Go back and listen to our Superman review for Here James' story.
Oh,
and
why
I didn't get to go.
Why you didn't get to go, and then why I had to walk out at the very beginning.
This is a photo they revealed, I think, Entertainment, of Krem. I'm not really sold on Krem's look. Like I'm fine with them making it different than the book, but this is weird. I don't know how I feel. I like this shot of the costume just from the side angle because you see some of the detail and you see how the symbol is, where it looks more like a patch. It's not like that rubber 3D that we got so accustomed to, but it doesn't look like it's printed on like a t-shirt. It's like a embossed patch. So
yeah, we got a really good look at something similar when they did one of the early images from Superman.
It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, was 2 years ago, but yeah, like he says, like embossed.
So Craig Gillespie says the runtime for Supergirl is around 1 hour and 50 minutes. I don't know how I feel about that. If it's good, that's fine. You know, I don't want like 3 hours the Batman, but like Masters of the Universe is clocking in at 2 hours and 12 minutes. And I feel like that's a good run. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of story and stuff I want to see in these films. They're such events. I don't want them to be over too quick, you know?
Yeah.
Like Superman feels cut way too tight. And there's something else I watched just recently that I was like, this just feels like it's cut too tight. There's no room to breathe. Oh, it was certain scenes in Mortal Kombat. And that movie was over 2 hours. But I felt like it was cut too tight.
Well, there's so much lore within that they're trying to put to screen. I mean, 1 hour and 50 is a little short. I think, 2:10 is really good for superhero films.
Right.
It gives
It gives them enough time to tell the story and breathe.
Yeah.
So we got some Supergirl merch at Hot Topic. Now these hoodies here, I wonder if they're Supergirl hoodies or just left over because they look a lot like the same hoodies that they had for Superman. But there's some. I haven't been to Hot Topic because I haven't been to a mall that has a Hot Topic, and I haven't really got on the website. But I saw pictures people were posting. I guess there's gonna be some more Milkbone crypto treats. There's gonna be some nail polish here. A Lobo bracelet, Supergirl earrings.
That's good. I like them marketing it to the females, to the female fans of Supergirl.
Here's some photos of like they had a convention thing, and then Booster Juice is doing a Supergirl cup, whoever that is. And then here's the totes that comic book stores are starting to sell of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and then Absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. But this is my problem. Where's the rest of the Supergirl merch? I say that like I saw a couple like kids Supergirl like a shirt and a PJ set at Walmart, but there is no toy line. There's just the end cap with the McFarlanes. There's no like kids toys for Supergirl.
Like the Spin Master.
Right.
They had the Superman. They had the Yeti figure. And the Fortress base or whatever.
I mean, why are we not getting like a Spin Master or Mattel like Supergirl figure line for kids? Because I feel like they're not pushing this as hard. Even their McFarlane line, I feel like, is not really living up to what it could be. Like we have complained about not having a good crypto figure, and that's still happening. My best crypto toy is the one I got from Super Pets. But how are we not doing like a Barbie, like a tie-in of like an official like Supergirl style like Barbie 12-inch figure or something? Like I really feel like they're missing the market of what kids would want, really bringing Supergirl out instead of just having these McFarlane toys that are more for collectors than for actually kids. So that's my rant. There's no fast food tie-in either. We should have heard something by now.
Right. I mean, we didn't even see anything about the DC ones that came up through, what was it, Burger King or Wendy's?
So
until they were happening.
Yeah. And I went to Wendy's a couple times and I told that story. I got Superman, I got Supergirl. Awesome. I wanted Flash also, but yeah. So no Dairy Queen, I guess, this year for Supergirl. So I just feel like it's not getting the push. I mean, right now, Mandalorian and Grogu is at Burger King. And as of this recording, we are a little over a month away from Supergirl dropping in theaters.
Well, yeah, Supergirl is about a month past Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah.
And
so
giving that a nice window to get that its 4 weeks run, and then hopefully Supergirl will get to be the next big thing.
I mean, Master of the Universe got a Denny's tie-in. Denny's. There's no Denny's around here.
Actually,
right.
There was 2 around here, but 1 closed.
So they did during an upfronts. They did. Here's, I guess, what the Man of Tomorrow font banner looks like. Yay! But Sinqua Walls has been cast as a mysterious man in Man of Tomorrow, and so has Matthew Lillard. I'm not even going to speculate. I'm just going to say, cool. Don't even need to speculate. Just cool. Can't wait to find out who it is.
Yeah, after we see Supergirl, after we see Lanterns, probably not Clayface, but you never know. We might be able to speculate at something closer as to who he might play.
Yeah, I mean, Clayface would be cool if it had something,
Well, he said that the Clayface takes place early, so that means like anything else hasn't happened yet.
But we'll
that
talk
doesn't
about that.
Mean like post credits or things like that can't.
But hold that thought.
Still build up to maybe the overarching narrative that they're building.
No, I'm with you, but hold that thought. I don't think there's any other. Man of Tomorrow is currently filming. They're in production. I don't really
Matthew
have any
Lillard.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I'm just gonna go with both of them. Like, cool. All right, more cast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love Matthew Lillard, so I'm excited to see whatever role he's going to bring.
I'm just gonna say that I hope that Ron Troop gets a real role in this movie, and I don't know if they've mentioned him coming back or not. So, other thing is the Batman Part 2 is in production or pre-production as far as they're doing camera tests. And Matt Reeves, showed a picture of some camera tests of the Batmobile in snow, and then started sending out photos of the cast saying welcome, to the Batman. And Charles Dance was one that I had missed. But so I thought that was cool. He's going to be in the Batman Part 2. Charles Dance is such a great actor. Like, his career has really taken off the older he's gotten.
Absolutely.
He's been around for a long time. I first remember him in Last Action Hero.
So that was what I was going to say was that's my first memory, introduction to him, and still like one of my favorite performances of his out of so many great ones.
Yeah. That's something I think they could remake, and it would be awesome. But the Batman Part 2 is in some form of filming. But what's funny is how much people are freaking out that it's going to be in winter, which is great. But we already have Batman movies that are set in winter, like Batman Returns, and which was, we need another one. Don't get me wrong. But
there's the Gotham in the snow is gorgeous.
Well, it's like I love the one scene in Suicide Squad where he where he takes down Deadshot. It's snowing and you see Batman drop in.
Right.
So we have some Alex Garfin, Jordan Kent from Superman and Lois will be at Superman Celebration, as will Katie Lotz, who was in the Arrowverse as the White Canary. Which is sweet. Superman Celebration's coming up real fast, June 12th through 14th. I would love to get there, but I'm not sure if it's going to work out this year just because of some things. But we don't know. It's still a month away. And then co-creator of The Punisher, Jason Todd, Firestorm, and Power Girl, Jerry Conway passed away recently at 73. So.
Yep, and he is the reason why they had a story in the Superman, Batman, or Superman, Spider-Man books.
Yeah. Everyone's trying to figure out why Punisher and Power Girl. Well, it's right there. It is.
Yep, because he created them.
Excuse me. It's been early. DC Comics has announced Kingdom of Zod, a brand new crossover storyline event that takes place across several titles, which are set to release in August and September. So I'm guessing that Kingdom of Zod is going to fall right after Reign of the Superboys.
Makes sense.
And then, so a Warner Brothers game artist confirmed that Injustice 3 is officially in development at NetherRealm Studios. I had also seen that potentially that maybe it might not be Injustice 3, but it might be another DC fighting game. And people were speculating if it's like KO. Now, I love Injustice like as the fighting game, but if we really want to abandon that storyline, but give us another DC fighting game, I think a KO video game would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, definitely a reason why they would all fight.
Because you have just the fighting, but you got to have a storyline too. So I think KO would lend to a nice, what do you call it?
Yeah,
storyline.
And that's why Injustice was really good the way it was. Is the story that it had. Within the fighting game, but with 2 games, I mean, what are you gonna say? I mean, they've done 12 Mortal Kombats, so
yeah. I mean, they even rebooted Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? Like
twice.
Yeah,
twice. They rebooted Mortal Kombat twice. Raiden sent a message back to himself.
Gotta love in continuity. Gotta love the in continuity rebooting where it's like, we're still going forward. But we're rebooting as well.
Yeah. So before they even, and then they did the whole time, like full timekeeper reboot.
Yeah, which I like that, but I'm still not 100% on some of it. So, but this is the Mortal Kombat game podcast. So I'm hoping that we get some more clarity on that because I guess we're never getting that Wonder Woman game or anything else. But you know what we are getting? So My Adventures with Superman out of nowhere dropped that June 13th at midnight, which I still argue June 13th is at, like, I hate that it's at midnight. It just annoys the crap out of me because does that mean that it's Saturday night into Sunday, or when I wake up Saturday morning, is it there available to watch? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I used to complain about that, but we got a poster that shows Cyborg Superman, and then we got one that has My Adventures. A different poster that has Cyborg Superman and the other characters of Jimmy, Lois, Lex, somebody else with glasses, Clark, and Kara. And then we got a trailer. And the trailer was awesome. And the trailer, we watched as we were driving Sayla to the hospital, all laughing together. But the trailer revealed Superboy. It revealed Kara's new outfit and Clark's new outfit, which is crazy because they both got new outfits at the end of season 2, but now they have new outfits again. And I like Kara's.
So do I.
It's very much
hers has a closeness to like the Smallville season 11 Kara.
Yep. I was thinking of
but
you the
also a little different too because she's kind of got a hoodie part to it. like upper part of her cape, uh, and but instead of like the tails, because she does have like a cape, she does have the skirt, the red skirt,
And
but
she's
she's
wearing
got
pants
blue,
too
blue pants all the way down.
that are much more like looking like the new suit, the new pants of like David's suit. We have, and Clark's got cape that hooks around in the front to his shield over the shoulder.
Yeah, and both their shoulders have like a red design to it too. You know, we did not like the pointy shoulder look at the end of season 2 that both of them got, and so now they still did something with the shoulders, but this time it's just curved around their shoulders as part of their suit, but it's red.
And then we got our first look at Superboy. And then we learned that Darren Criss will be Superboy. Now, Darren Criss had previously played Superman for the Tomorrowverse and played the Music Meister in The Flash. So, welcome, Darren. So that's exciting. I'm very excited for My Adventure Season 3. We see Lois punch Lex. We see some more hijinks.
You said we saw Cyborg, but he's just got an L kind of in his shield, you know? It's not a Superman shield, it's not a variation, it's just an L.
Which is interesting because it very much looks like what do you call it? Which is we saw in season. Now, me and the kids right now are rewatching season 2. We saw Hank Henshaw in season 2, and it very much seems like Superboy is much more playful with Superman. So see, there's Cyborg right there. What do you think, Jimmy?
Yeah, go back to Cyborg.
We're watching the trailer for everyone who see right there.
Yeah, see, it's got like an L on there.
Yep. So I really hope like there's no doomsday. See, Superboy, he's very much like hanging out with them. There's Silver Banshee, Giganta.
Yeah.
So I love that we got this like a month before it premieres. You know, it's so cool. So we're just gonna go straight into that, you know, and then
absolutely, that's gonna be great. I can't wait for season 3, and it's coming up. You know, we didn't really even hear a whole lot about it. There was just, you know, some interviews like, yeah, recording is this, recording's done or whatever, and then that's it. And then now it's like trailer June 13th next month.
And I love it. I love that now than knowing so much stuff ahead of time. Let's see. DC will host a showcase of its animated TV slate at the Annecy Festival in June, with first looks at Starfire, Mr. Miracle, DC Superpowers, Creature Commandos Season 2, Batman Caped Crusaders Season 2, and My Adventures with Green Lantern. Now, My Adventures with Green Lantern, I got a quote here, is it for, Jessica Cruz is confirmed to appear in My Adventures with Superman Season 3. Showrunner Jake Wyatt teases a spinoff led by Jessica Cruz. Our take on Superman is very obvious, inspired by Dragon Ball Z. Among other things, there's a lot of anime influences. Lantern is inspired by a very different part of the same Toonami block. It'll be really clear once we start dropping promos what part of the Toonami block inspired our Green Lantern show. We're not subtle, people.
Nice.
So when I think of Toonami, I think of Gundam Wing, Dragon Ball, and then at one point I think they had Voltron and Thundercats at one point, but definitely Gundam Wing is right.
Yeah, Gundam and Dragon Ball Z. That's what I was watching primarily on Toonami.
And then here's some look at some of the new larger 12-inch figures from Mattel. And that Superman looks fugly. And I'm not sure if I'm going to end up buying it to go with my 12-inch Superman collection. I probably will, but it does not look good.
There's a sucker born every day.
All right. And then the last big part is Lanterns will appear August 16th on HBO. Lanterns is set in 2 time periods, one part in 2016, the other part in 2026. The story begins with a shooting in a small rural town that Hal Jordan becomes convinced is an alien incident. So part of the show will take place before Superman, and part of the show will take place after, which may help with the line that he says there are no other human Green Lanterns in the show. It explains that it's the 2016. And then, of course, the events of Superman take place right before the 2026 part. So it says, confirming that Guy Gardner becomes a Green Lantern after John is trained by Hal. Chris Mundy describes Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner as fabulously obnoxious and confirms he appears a few times in the show. And if Guy Gardner doesn't appear in some part in Creature Commando Season 2, I think I'll be a little upset. But now, what I was saying earlier is, I wonder if Lanterns in the timeline will be before Clayface. The first part of Lanterns, the 2016 part.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's curious.
I just didn't want to say that back when you mentioned, like, you know, Clayface being set more in the past. I was like,
right.
I don't want to say that just yet. So, yeah. So then we got the new trailer. I got some images of, it looks like John at the lantern, which this is not a very good looking lantern. This looks like I bought it on Etsy and I made it myself. Because we see like John carrying it. We actually get to see some more like green usage. We see Hal make like a bubble of green energy around himself that he's being shot at. We see a green dome.
That bubble, I was almost wondering if it wasn't like the ring reaction to danger, creating a bubble for the bullets.
We do get to see Hal in his suit with no mask. Brian is very pissed that there's no mask on Hal Jordan, which I'll give that to him.
I'm sure.
But these suits, so the suit that's on Hal Jordan is very much looking like Green Lantern Earth 1. And I'm kind of interested in Hal Jordan's suit. Just because, like, Guy Gardner's, we know he got it from the whole, he's in the Justice Gang for Maxwell Lord Industries. But I'm just hoping that there's some post-production work, too, that's going to go into this suit. Because I always liked the idea of the Green Lantern having a suit, but then energy kind of coming off of it and everything. So it's not just a full CG suit. Even though nowadays the full CG suits, you can't even tell sometimes that they're energy. But I would like a real suit with just, you know, enhancements on it. The trailer, we see both John and Hal use the ring. And it looks like they're sharing the same ring right now. Even though I swear we've seen images with John with his own ring. So we'll have to wait and see how the show plays out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've seen 3 different rings for the 3 different human lanterns.
Well, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hal's looks nothing like Guy's. Guy's looks different, and I thought we saw John's. Um, we do get to see images of a flashback of a younger Hal Jordan, like on TV, and a young John Stewart watching him, and he's got like the pilot jacket more, what we're accustomed to. I am going to agree with Brian on this, and this is something we talked about after we saw Superman, was the fact that like the constructs and like the green, when Guy is flying and stuff, there's not that green aura around him that we always see in the comics. And like we see in the trailer here, how Jordan take off flying, and he doesn't have the green aura around him. So I am a little like, okay, why are we not using that?
That is something that we had discussed a little bit before, that there is no aura. I said, I mean, maybe around on Earth, like, I feel like that could be fine, but like if they were to fly out into space, I think they need to have that aura.
Yes,
as
they do.
It's a protection from the vacuum of space, whereas just flying around on the Earth, it's just I mean, yeah, I get it. It is a representation that we've always seen, but it could be a little, everybody always tends to try and do something that makes it their own. That image of somebody flying towards that planet looks amazing.
Yes. We do see Sinestro, but it's like from the back. He looks like he's in prison, so we really don't get to see Sinestro. This is a much stronger teaser. I wish they would have led with this one. So that would have been nice. And I'm excited for the show. I'm not going to give it, like, I give it the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when the show proves to me that it's not good, then we'll have our issues. But I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, see what they're doing, before I go off and complain about it. Okay?
Right. Well, I mean, just in the idea, we haven't seen anything yet besides pretty much stuff that James Gunn has wrote or worked on or whatever. So Supergirl is going to be the first thing we're going to see that's not going to be James Gunn primarily, How well does that, and we can see, how very sci-fi it is, how very I mean, for lack of anything better than sci-fi, Guardians, it's visually similar, alien worlds, and it's really cool. So I want to see that. And if Lanterns is going to be a part of this universe, like there has got to be some more comic bookness to the show than we're seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watched the Watchmen show and the trailers that came out with that, like there was a whole lot left to see.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, there was a whole lot left to see within the show, that made it very strongly a comic book show, but a very well done comic book show. So that's my hope. Absolutely benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, and we could speculate more, but you know what? We're all just gonna keep on keeping on, But hey,
life's a garden. You dig it?
We are going to discuss the end of Superboy. It's been a good run. We are on the last 2 episodes. We saved them to do together. Superboy Season 4, episodes 21 and 22, Rites of Passage. One was aired on May 10th, 92. The next one was on May 17th, 92. Written by Mike Carlin and somebody else whose name evades me at the moment. But I really like these two episodes. What I found interesting was they start with the flashback of telling us how Clark lands. And we have Jonathan and Martha finding Clark in the field.
Yes, sir.
And then it goes, and it's Clark's 20-something birthday. If you notice throughout the episode, they're like, oh, like 20 years ago. And they're like, Clark, you're 20-some-odd years. So they're not really telling us how old Clark is, but we know he's in his early 20s. It's been 20 years since he landed on Earth, but maybe he came here and he's like 3 years old or so. So maybe he's like 23. But Lana throws him a surprise birthday. And Lana and his chemistry in this episode is interesting because she's out to prove that he's Superman. She like finally puts it together. Or Superboy, sorry. But we see that his powers are on the fritz. That something's going wrong.
Yep. He blows a hole in the guy's shoulder with his heat vision.
I thought that was awesome. He's trying to stop a robbery and just blows. And the cop's like, yeah, I'd like to do that too. And, you know, he trashes his apartment, yells at Lana to get away from him, which I thought was interesting. He's like, get away from me.
Yeah, I almost wondered, like, what was going on, like, if there was something red kryptonite or something the like involved.
Well, what we learn is his ship basically activates and says he needs to insert the purple crystal. Well, I like that was purple and not green because I'm sick of like the green crystal.
Right.
To the next level, he needs to insert the purple crystal, or emergency things will be taken care of. And basically, the ship takes his powers away because he didn't have the green or the purple crystal. And I thought that was neat. And of course, Mr. Jackson, who runs the bureau, gets called by the guys in Washington to go, and he needs to go to Smallville, some small town. Now, did you catch where he said the town was?
He said just outside of Kansas City.
Right. And it's like, I think he slipped up. Because he's like, yeah, it's a small town of Kansas City. And I was like, oh, I think he messed up. And it's supposed to be, Kansas. And he said Kansas City.
Mm.
And nobody caught it because they weren't paying attention. But because that crystal's acting up. But yeah. So Lana, like I said, is trying to piece it together. And, basically gets tricked by Clark a couple of times. Him being smart. She has it kind of backwards. She sticks Clark and he starts bleeding. Then by the time she gets to Superboy, his powers are back. And she sticks him and it bends. And she's like, oh, wait, something's wrong. But I wanted to ask you, with the way this episode played out, right? And they talk about him stepping into like a change and stepping up and everything. Why am I not able to think of the terms they used? Not metamorphosis, but something like akin to that.
Yeah. Why am I?
Because why he's going through his trials and like
they didn't call it a transformation.
No, but it was something along those same lines, and he says, that is good for now. We'll be here for your next one. And my thought was, I wondered if this was supposed to kind of hail the idea of this change, this trial or whatever. This is where he goes from being Superboy to now being Superman.
Right.
And this was that's like we're at the very end of this series. And, the series ends and, we see Lana go to stab him in the butt with the pin. So we're kind of like, oh, she's going to find out that Clark is Superboy. But,
yeah.
And then Mr. Jackson gets lost in Smallville and meets like the sweet farm girl who's teaching him to just relax and calm down and take it slow. Thought that was a little interesting side ploy there.
Right. Yeah, that was a B plot for sure.
That was like a C. That was like a CC plot.
No, right. Yeah, I mean Superboy, his maturation, and getting control of his powers, and the purple crystal was definitely your A plot, and then Lana discovering him to be Superboy throughout both episodes is your B plot, and then C plot is certainly the director learning to calm down and relax.
So yeah, it was a good way of ending the show, and I'm glad that it kind of went on this, like I said, this note that I took of like, this is now the time of Superman. There was one more piece of news that I knew I had and I couldn't find, but DC Studios has already hired Christopher Cantwell of AMC's *Halt and Catch Fire* for a potential Lantern Season 2 as head writer and executive producer. And I guess the idea was to help maybe change the tone a little for the next season. But I was like, okay, all right.
Okay, well, I mean, hopefully the idea of them already working on a season 2 means that they really like it.
Yeah, but it'll be one of those that, oh, we've got it ready, but if people don't respond well to it, then, it'll maybe just be, because it was stated that it was supposed to be designed as a multi-season show. So, but that's all the news. And then, like I said, we bid adieu to Superboy. It's been a good run. We started Superboy before I planned out that we would do a whole year on Superboy, so it might come up in talks in the future. But our next will be a time for Superman. Dum dum dum. But right now, it is still the year of Supergirl. And we're going to go back to a long, long time ago, called the Silver Age. James, what would you consider the Silver Age? Give the kids at home what the Silver Age is.
So my knowledge of the Silver Age is basically from lots of character stories, overall knowledge of events, timelines, things like that. But the Silver Age typically starts with Barry Allen somewhere in around 1955, and goes what I believe up to the pre-crisis timeline, just into the early 80s.
See, Silver Age goes till
or
it's like the end of the 60s, early 70s, because the 70s into the 80s is the Bronze Age.
Right. Yeah, no, that's the what is it? It's something that the Flash does.
Flash be making sure we know the times.
Yeah, it's something that the Flash does in the late 60s, like 68 or something. I forget. That kind of signals the end of the Silver Age. That kind of moves into the Bronze Age.
So we're going to talk the Silver Age, and what James and I decided to do was, I got it right here. I was looking at this. Yeah, I was just trying to see if I could find where the Silver Age ended. And I think Adventure Comics with Supergirl began in June of '69. By that time, we were transitioning to the Bronze Age. But so like 69 to 71 is really where the Bronze Age picks up. But Silver Age Supergirl, there were 2 big volumes of Silver Age Supergirl. And what we decided to do is I would read one volume 1, and James would read volume 2. And we would talk about 5 stories, or just kind of talk about what we read and what stuck out to us. And this picks up after her debut in Action 252, and she's the last survivor of Argo City from the planet Krypton, and Clark has basically put her into a home, a orphanage, and she has taken on the mantle in the name of Linda Lee. And I'll tell you one thing about Silver Age Supergirl here. It's pretty depressing.
I did read a good chunk, well, let's say like a quarter of volume 1 before I got into volume 2, just to kind of get a bit of background about what Supergirl was like in the beginning of her in the beginning of her run, of her arrival. And in volume 1, it definitely is kind of bleak and depressing, especially for her as Supergirl, where she's kind of like being hidden. She can't be seen or discovered as Supergirl.
No, she can't. And she's at the Midvale orphanage actively trying not to get adopted.
Yeah.
And she's like doing things to help other kids get adopted, like where she helps this one family make a bunch of money. There is one where she meets Streaky the cat. Supergirl gets a pet.
Well, there's one where
she gets turned to a baby, helping Superman, and now she's baby Supergirl.
Well, there's one where she kind of like reveals herself to Krypto, so Superman exiles her from Earth for a whole year.
Yeah, that was the one I was like, oh my god, what the heck?
I know, right?
I'm like, and she comes back, and everybody's like, Linda, where have you been?
But
and like she's constantly on the outs. There was one where she got adopted, but they realized that the circus people were tricking and cheating, and she had to like be returned. And every time she gets adopted by a police officer and his wife, but then the police officer gets put in mortal danger. He's saved by Supergirl, but then they tell Linda, after telling her to call them mom and dad, that they have to return her to the orphanage because they don't want her to get killed like their original daughter did. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like everything she does, like she's hidden, she's pushed aside, she can't be adopted, and Superman's really a jerk towards her. I'm like, what does this poor girl have going on?
It really does. I mean, but then you get to the Silver Age Volume 2, and that actually kicks off where she has been announced to the world. They announce her to everybody, the heroes and and the whole planet, so that way. And they kind of like say everything, how she was like his emergency secret weapon for years. And so she gets a little more. She doesn't have to do so many kind of like depressing things, you know, and she obviously gets to shine and everything, but then she's got to keep her identity from people. Like she gets a boyfriend named Dick Melvin, something like that. And there's one time where he thinks that Linda is Supergirl, and so he tries to trick her, and she has to do things to, you know, basically like Clark did in Superboy, and he's like, Lana, you're crazy, and she's like, Dick, you're crazy, and
I know it's crazy, like
gaslighting hard.
And they definitely did play like she's a girl, like she does stuff, but she doesn't at the same time.
Well, she gets to do a lot of things. In this second half, Superman leaves Earth for an adventure, so Supergirl is the one who has to save Earth, who has to protect everything that's going on. She fought an impossible monster that was so big it was the only thing that was ever drawn was its legs.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She even and reading through this, I didn't actually realize how far back some characters went. Lesla Lar,
yes,
is in here. So I really do love how much the current run of Supergirl is actually pulling very heavily from Silver Age Supergirl.
Well, we see Supergirl with the robot in the tree here at the Midvale Orphanage. Like I said, Crypto's here. Streaky shows up. Supergirl's just doing a lot of like fun stuff to the other kids, like helping them or, you know, keeping them in check. But I feel so bad for her. Like, I want to adopt her. Just the way Superman treats her and everything. But the whole him exiling her was crazy. Because she would figure out he's Clark Kent and he had to be trusted.
Right. I did like how she did figure out that he was Clark Kent. The way she did so quickly. That was kind of funny. But we got to see Jack Sur. We got to see General Zod.
Mm-hmm.
And Cruel. So, actually, lots of names that we have read in just recent, I don't know, months, or within like the last year.
It's so interesting. It's very interesting, just the stuff that does get put in Supergirl, because a lot of these started up just as backup stories.
Yeah. The most of the first half, she was a backup story in Action Comics. In the first volume, that's a lot of that. In volume 2, she gets Comet, the super horse. You know, she gets to ride him and go on adventures with him.
Good old Comet. And then in Volume 1, she does meet some of the members of the Legion. And I wonder if that's what kind of starts to set up this idea that, one day she'll go to the Legion. But so, because the issue where she meets the Legion, the last panel says, I wanted so much to join the Legion of Superheroes. Will I ever be invited again to become a member? I wonder.
Yeah, I do like, and she has quite a few more adventures with the Legion.
And I do like, just as you're reading these larger trades, how, like you said, you see the evolution of the character, from going from the Action Comics back up to more just Supergirl stories.
Right. Well, then they have stories like where she sees a love story or a love movie, and she says that she needs to get Superman married. So she travels back in time so that and has him come back so they can meet Helena Troy and fall in love with Helena Troy. And then she goes to the future, takes him to the future to get with an older Saturn girl, and so and then there's another issue where actually Jax-Ur and other Kryptonians in the Phantom Zone are reaching through with their willpower, kind of tapping into a latent psychic power that her adopted father has, and they can exploit that, and they kind of mind control him to make her cry. And they're just like, she's a girl, so she'll cry over this or that or everything that you can do to make her cry because she's a girl. It was very interesting to read some of this in that regard.
To see how they treated female characters. I mean, it's pretty rough. So I definitely enjoyed reading the Silver Age. It's always interesting to see what came before. And it's fun because a lot of them are short stories.
And they can do like anything. There's the super ventriloquism. She goes into the future and she has to help the Legion because the Legion doesn't have powers. Turns out they're kidnapped and it's shape changers in their place, so they don't have their powers, but they convince her that they're the Legion without powers, and she has to, without being seen, convince everybody that the Legion members do have powers. So she's got to use every, super power that they've that they've ever had,
So, if you have the app, check out the Silver Age. Now, one thing I did want to bring up, because this is how long it's been since we have recorded, is James, tell the people, what did you do for Free Comic Book Day?
What I did for Free Comic Book Day? So we went to our local comic shop, Monarch. Got some free books. Laura grabbed her 5. Jamie grabbed her 5. I grabbed my 5. So, tried to steer clear of.
Book?
I did get the Supernatural book. I actually haven't read any of those. I believe they're all out over here, all together. And I said, "Don't lose my books."
Yeah, that's like the only one I really got. That and the Power Ranger one for me. The other, like all the DC stuff, the kids took because I either read it or had it because they had a lot of
the free stuff comes out on the app too, for Free Comic Book Day. So I steered clear of any of those that I could. I grabbed the Supernatural book. I grabbed the Conan book. there was an Alien book, I think, that I grabbed. So there's at least 3 there that I want to take a peek into. But yeah, we went to Free Comic Book Day at the shop. I actually bought Predator Kills the Marvel Universe trade, and then I bought Jamie and the kids the Stranger Things Volume 1 omnibus.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was cool. And then we they get these like coupons paid, it's just how much are you gonna pay for it, and they collect them across the street at the ice cream place, and you get a free ice cream on Comic Book Day as well. So
nice.
Yeah, helps drive up the business in the area. It's really cool.
Kids got their books. We looked around. Stallman was really wanting to read and get Absolute Batman. So I had to buy a new phone because my phone got damaged and it wouldn't stay connected to the server anymore. Like, it kept dropping from the network, and it was just cheaper for me to buy a new phone than trying to get mine repaired. But it still worked in Wi-Fi, so I set it up with the DC app, and Solomon's been plowing through reading Absolute Batman. But he's been doing the up scroll.
Oh, the Go books.
Yeah. So I was showing him, like, I said, okay, you can do it this way, and he really liked the idea of the Go books.
It's the Go books are good for phones.
Yes,
because each panel is made to fit the vertical nature of your phone, and the word bubbles are placed in a better position and size that you can read it better than trying to flip your phone side to side or zoom into a panel to a word bubble to read.
And I had a lot of fun with the kids always at Free Comic Book Day, like just seeing who we meet. They won some coupons. They got some Pokemon cards. They're passing out chocolate, like if you won some trivia. So it was a good time. And like if you dropped off like canned food items, you were able to take more free comics. So that was awesome. I love Free Comic Book Day. The last thing I was going to say is, you know how recently they did the history of DC? Mark Waid did the history of DC.
Yes.
I think it would be awesome if he did a book similar to just the history of Krypton. To really like solidify like the history of the planet and certain things and how it came to be. I think a history of Krypton book would be pretty cool. Nice.
Yeah.
I got some ideas.
You'd probably do a whole line of history of this or that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It would be really neat to have some foundation. But that's all we got today. Check back, drop us a line, a review, send us an email. Join. We have a Patreon. You can join. We put special things on there. It's just $1 to help us stay going. Keep Krypton from exploding. So check it out. Let us know your thoughts. James and I'll be here. We got more great Supergirl content coming up this year. And remember,
look up in the sky!
Thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going. And in return, you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or a message.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane. Enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.